Everybody knows now. It's been carried all morning and all day yesterday as well. Some lovely conversations with people who have actually met him. And of course, amongst them is Geraldine Drohan, who is out in Ballincollig and joins me by phone. Geraldine, good morning.
Good morning, Neil. How are you?
I'm good. And Tony, you also had a very special moment with Pope Francis. You and your daughter. Do tell.
Going back in July 23, I was after having a tough year. I was after burying my mother, and I was after burying Father George Romani, our parish priest here.
George, what a lovely man. Oh,
yeah. Yes, indeed. Missed greatly.
Yeah, I can imagine.
My family bought myself and my daughter a trip to Rome.
You would have been close, incident, because you're the sacristan of St. Mary's and St. Joseph's in Ballincollig.
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah.
St. Mary's, St. John's in Ballincollig.
Sorry, St. John's, my apologies. It's the old church, isn't it?
It's the old church, yes.
Okay.
And sacristan there for the past 17 years.
Good for you. So somebody bought you, was it the gift of a trip or something, or what?
The gift of a trip, yes, for my family. For myself and my daughter. They were sending us off for a couple of days.
Okay, off you go. Tell us the story.
About 2 weeks beforehand, a good clergy friend of mine said to me, I will apply to Papal Nuncio here in Ireland to get you Papal Audience tickets. So I said, great. So about a week before we went, I got a beautiful letter to say, go to the Golden Door in St. Peter's Basilica the day before, on the Tuesday, to pick up my tickets for the Papal Audience. So when I went to pick them up, I didn't see any difference to them to anybody else's Papal Audience tickets. So we arrived on the Wednesday morning to the Papal Audience about 9 a.m. and obviously the place was packed and Pope Francis was out on his Pope mobile. So we just stood back in the crowd and I had my tickets in my hand. But there was a little red tick at the side of the tickets.
A red
which
tick?
I didn't realise. Yes.
Yeah.
It was like the corner of the tickets.
Sounds important, yeah.
Important, which I didn't realise. And as the Pope went back up on the altar, the security man was pushing us into our seats, and he spotted my tickets, and he said, are these your tickets? I said, yes. And he said, come with me. He walked us through the crowds of the square, up onto the altar, through rows of priests, rows of nuns, newly married couples, and there was 2 empty seats in the front row, 100 yards from Pope Francis. At this stage, Pope Francis was actually giving his papal address, so I was actually mortified. I was like one late for mass.
Sorry, Francis. Sorry, yeah. Sorry there, people. Sorry. You're getting people's way. People get married and you bunching in between them. Sorry there. Excuse me.
So we got our seats. We were sitting. I got very, very emotional. To be so near Pope Francis.
You interrupted him. You interrupted him in the middle of the service.
You interrupted, yeah. My daughter Aoife was sitting next to me and she said, whatever about you, Mum, you deserve these tickets. But she said, I don't, you know. And I said, of course you do, you know. So Pope Francis gave his papal address and then they rolled him from his wheelchair down to the altar and he was, I'd say, 50 yards from me and I was hysterically crying, being so near him.
Why? Why would you be so... Explain that emotion.
It was so emotional, and I don't know, it is because I'm so involved in the church that it was such... I don't know, you know, that he's all pure. He's a gentle, yes, lovely man, you know. But they rolled his wheelchair along the crowd, or along the front row seats, to the 30, there was about 30 of us in the front row seats. I was sitting actually next to a cardinal from Sardinia. And he asked me where was I from, and I said, Ireland. And he said, what part? I said, Cork. And he said, to Taves McCarthy country. The Bishop Taves McCarthy was Bishop of Cork and us in the 1800s.
Right. Okay.
You know? But at this stage, the Pope has been ruled to all of us, and I was saying to my daughter, oh my God, he's coming, he's going to shake our hands, he's going to speak to us, you know. So the
what you didn't pass out? What you
I
didn't?
nearly passed out.
Faint.
The people in the row in front of us were giving him presents, and I was saying to Aoife, oh my God, I've no present for him. Do you know, I was rooting in my bag for a present.
Yeah. Like what? What do you expect to have in it? Like a packet of Milky Mints or something? Bar chocolate?
I had a bag of about 50 rose beads and pencils and keyrings for the altar service back in Ballincollig on my lap. So when he came to me, he put out his hand, and I'll tell you, Neil, he was so ordinary. I actually felt I was below in Mary O's in Ballincollig talking to the local man, because he's...
They say that. All the papers say that this morning, though. They really do. A man of the people. Yeah. He wasn't into the bureaucracy or the pomp.
Pure,
so,
not at all.
Yeah, go on. Yeah. A humble man.
He asked me where was I from, and I said, I'm the sacristan in Ireland. And he said, Dublin. And I said, oh, no. Says I, Cork. I said, Bishop Buckley country. Yes. And then I forgot we had a new bishop of Bishop Finton. And I said, oh, Bishop Finton, yes, from Dublin. So he laughed, and I have a fantastic picture of him capturing his hand up on his head, laughing at me. Do you know?
No way.
That we were having the crack. Then he moved on to shake hands with my daughter.
I have the photograph here. Go on, tell me about the photograph, yeah.
I wasn't leaving him go. I was saying, Pope, this is my daughter Aoife. As I say, he was so gentle and so kind, you would actually think it was your neighbour you were speaking to. So... his photographer captured a beautiful photograph of myself, my daughter, and Pope Francis.
It's a super photograph. It's a super
photograph.
And is that the Sardinian cardinal there on your left hand side? Yeah.
That's right.
Yes.
Wouldn't be gas if he became the next pope.
Well, there's two Italians in the running. All right, there's two Italians. No Irish though. I wonder will we ever get it? But anyway, maybe that's for another day.
But the crack, Neil, was when I...
Johnny Buckley would have been the man for that if he was ever made cardinal, wouldn't he?
Buckley, yes, he would have been another... another people's man.
Yeah. No, it's that must have been the greatest, probably not experience of your life. Imagine your children would have been. But certainly the pinnacle of your long life and your long life within the church, I would think, yeah?
Church, yes. Neil, it was gas because I was on such a high and such a buzz. As he was shaking my daughter's hand, and as he moved to the next person, my daughter said to me, Mum, my stomach is burning. And I said to her, what? And she said, my stomach is burning. And I thought she was getting the same emotions I was getting. And I said to her, have a bit of respect, cop on. And she said, no, Mum, look, seriously, my stomach is burning. As Pope Francis was shaking her hand, there was a bee stinging her on the stomach. It's a wonder we didn't knock the Pope out with her drama.
You should have told that story. Were you at Mass yesterday? You should have told that story at Mass.
But the guys, such a buzz with Father Allen and Father Rona Sheehan here in Ballincollig. He's our youngest curate in the diocese. They were all so jealous when I came back that none of them had met the Pope in person.
Oh no! Well, you took it for the team. Like, in fairness, you were there for all of the good people of Ballincollig. And what gift? I see Tony Fitzgerald, who was Lord Mayor at the time, was out there with his family, and he got right up. In fact, he had a gift and everything for the Pope. It was a beautiful, beautiful hand-carved little wooden piece that had, you can drop the small little candles into it. The little votive candles. It was a beautiful piece, and it had I think it had the Cork crest, and it was from Cork. It was a beautiful gift.
Beautiful.
And I know that the Pope gave J.D. Vance a few Easter eggs as well. Isn't it bizarre that he was still meeting people the day before on Sunday and everything?
Absolutely. But what a beautiful time for him today in the Easter.
I know.
Easter time.
And I just loved. Wasn't it the most beautiful thing? That is it. Monsignor Farrell said that he had returned to the house of the Father. Wasn't that just beautifully put?
It was absolutely beautiful. But instead of me giving him a present, Neil, I actually got him to bless all my rosary beads and the children's pencils and keyrings.
Yeah, a mass blessing, not each one. Surely be to God.
No, a mass blessing. So we had some crack coming back on the plane because we were writing a list of who would get these special 50 rosary beads. And as the list was getting bigger,
I'd have him up on eBay if it was me. But anyway,
you were being crossed off the list as fast as you were being put on the list. So they were like gold up.
Oh my God, it's amazing.
So we still have 2 pairs each, which is great. You know.
What a great story. Well said. Well told. In fairness to
I gave a rosary to 1 or 2 sick people here in Ballincollig, just parishioners that I wouldn't really know very well. And it meant so much to them.
I can well imagine.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know? Yes. But I reckon it was Father George and my mother actually made this happen from above.
Huh? And the red dot made that huge difference to your golden ticket, didn't it?
Ticket, yes. As I say, I could have missed the opportunity as fast as I got it. Do you know?
It's a great story.
Yeah.
You'll never beat the Cork people for getting out there and getting it
so
done.
may he rest in peace. Yeah.
Well said. Lovely chatting with you. Lovely chatting, Geraldine. Take care of yourself. All the best. God bless. Take care. Text 0868 104 106. Pick up the phone on 0818 104 106. Of course, we're talking about the burial on Saturday. And of course, then there's a lot of pushing and shoving and people taking sides, and there's all sorts of promises being made and will be made. How do I know all of this? Because I saw the film The Two Popes, which was terrific. And then I saw Conclave. Perhaps you saw it yourself, and you know how it works. Everybody starts now to lobby, for their pope or their wannabe pope, or people are, taking sides, and promises are made, and I guess vendettas are being squared away. I mean, it's an amazing thing now that you would have like 138 cardinals who are eligible to vote, and even now they're talking about 5, perhaps 6 or 7 who are already shortlisted. So they will have all of their teams of people who will be working the floor on their behalf. Do you get me? It's an amazing thing. It'll go on and on and on until eventually we have a new pope and this white smoke from the Vatican. So keep those texts coming. Text 0868 104 106. Monday Munchies of a Tuesday.